Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're making some coconut cherry hot cross buns. This one was super delicious, super soft and so easy to make. So let me show you how to make this and it's going to be yummy. We're going to start this recipe by adding our lukewarm milk into a big bowl. To this, I'm going to add in 1/3 cup of sugar and 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. We're going to mix that well until the sugar dissolves and mix in the yeast and set aside to proof. You want this to start to bloom. Once it starts to bloom, it will look like this, really frothy. We're going to add in 1 egg and beat that in. Now we're going to go in with butter. I'm using melted butter, unsalted, salt, whole nutmeg. I like to grate in my nutmeg fresh, but if you have powdered nutmeg, you can use that. And I'm going to go in with some ground cinnamon and some coconut essence. In goes a few drops of yellow food coloring, or you can use some turmeric, 2 tablespoons of coconut milk powder, and whisk. You want to whisk to bring all of these ingredients together. Now we're going to add in our flour. I'm going to sift in 3 packed cups of all-purpose flour. So you want to make sure you pack in the flour in the cup really tight to make sure you get the correct measurements to this recipe. Now once you mix it in halfway, you're going to add in your raisins, your shredded coconut and your cherries, and then mix. Now I find that this method works really great for me because you don't have to try to knead in these ingredients after the dough comes together. Now you can see here it's very sticky. We're going to transfer this to a floured surface, flour it a little bit, and then we're just going to work it to bring it together to form a smooth dough. You don't want to add too much of dry flour, but if you need it, you can add some more. Now make sure if you have a really sticky dough, then you did not measure your flour correctly. So I'll say knead for about 3 to 5 minutes and then form it into a dough ball and place it into a greased bowl for proofing. Now in goes that spray, or you can use butter, and then the dough, and then cover. I'm using plastic wrap here to cover, and I will place this in my oven with a pot of hot water, and in 30 minutes it proofs. So you want to punch down, release all of the air from the dough, and then we're going to break these into 12 dough balls. They should be about 4 ounces each. You can make the buns smaller if you want, or bigger if you like. Form them into dough balls and place them into a greased baking tray. Now you're going to cover this again and allow it to proof, and your oven should be preheating at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it's finished proofing and they look like this, they go into the oven and they bake for 20 minutes. Now let's make the crosses. So I'm using 1 cup of icing sugar. I'm going in with some coconut essence and some coconut milk powder, and a little bit of milk goes into this also. We're just going to mix this, and you don't want it to get really runny. You want this to be of a paste consistency, really thick, because you want to be able to pipe this on the cross. You want to pipe the cross on the buns, and you want to ensure that they don't run off. So you see how it looks here, really thick. That's how it should look. Set that aside. Let's create the syrup that we'll coat the buns with, which is totally optional. So to my pot, I'm adding in water and sugar. You just need a very little, and you're going to mix to dissolve and then bring this up to a bubble. Once the sugar dissolves and the syrup is nice and thick and sticky, you'll know that it's ready. You do not want it to crystallize. And this happens really quickly once it starts simmering. Now the buns are done. You want them to cool down. You can take them out and place them on a wire rack, and once they're cool, you start brushing it with that syrup. Remember, I said this step is totally optional, but it does give it that classic glazed look. Now I'm going to sprinkle on some shredded coconut, so your guests or whoever you're serving this to will know that there's coconut in there. And then you're going to put on the crosses, and you see how nice and thick that icing is. That's how you want it, so it stays on the bun. And make sure you do this when the buns cool down, otherwise the crosses will melt. Look how soft and fluffy and yummy it looks. Perfect and delicious. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. If you wanted to keep it classic, just omit the coconut and the cherries, and you'll have a classic hot cross bun. If you like this video, I hope you give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I hope you subscribe. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.